So I introduced myself as Fisher in kind of a broken accent like this. Like I don't speak that good of English, but I'm trying, no. And I kept that bit for 3 days for 3 days, and then I think it was one of my teammates that told their host family's mom, and just it spread like wildfire. But there at one point there was a weird dynamic where like they kind of knew, but they like didn't for sure, and they like. And I was at the point where I was trying to like kind of ease in some English. Like I'd be like, I remember this one time we were in the car and I was like, there's a McDonald's. Can we stop there for the food? And they're like, sure thing. And I was like, oh, cool. Like just in an English, like regular English accent.
Well, welcome, Varsity Pulse Radio fans. I'm your host, Travis Johnson, and man, I'm excited for today's guest. He is my first player to be interviewed. He's a world traveler, an uber talented musician, and let's not forget a stellar of a baseball player. Let's welcome our special guest with the most unique name in the world, Fisher Polydoroff. Man, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Travis. I'm honored to be your first player interviewed, and I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to just let the Fisher Polydoroff lore out into the world, and what better place to do it than Varsity Pulse Radio. I'm honored. Thank you.
And I'm honored as well that you're willing. I mean, you're busy. Gosh, you're a college student. You're playing baseball. And so getting into that, let's talk about a little bit about your baseball journey and how you led up to where you are right now in baseball.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been playing since I was about 8 years old. Not as early as a lot of my teammates, but I was always a soccer guy growing up. I'm actually wearing a soccer jersey right now from AC Milan. It's Paolo Maldini on the back, one of the best defenders to ever play the game. But soccer runs deep in my blood. But baseball, I've always had a knack for learning things and wanting to learn more and wanting to better myself in every aspect of my life and everything I do. And baseball kind of just took off. I started playing and I never really looked back. I think I wasn't very good starting off, but even Babe Ruth was a beginner in the beginning. But I'm really happy that I chose to play baseball, and it's taken me places. It's allowed me to meet people and create relationships that I'll never forget. I love baseball. It's awesome.
Man, I love it. And one relationship that we're going to go over is you were fortunate enough to come out to Farmington and play in the Connie Mack World Series. And there was a post you had on Instagram that it said MILF. And I've never heard anybody say, man, I love Farmington like that. I love it. I absolutely love it. So before we get deep dive into the World Series, I'm going to tell a story that affected our broadcasting of you, Mr. Fisher Polydoroff. When your team arrived at the Civic Center, my buddy White Duran and I were getting everybody's name, so we made sure everybody's name was, we could pronunciate it correctly. Mm-hmm. And so here comes D-Bat, here comes your team, and you come up, it says, hey, do you want my name in English or Portuguese? Because I'm from Brazil. And we looked at you without skipping a beat. We said, well, of course, English, because that'd be easier for us. So
yeah,
you told us in English. Well, I'll tell you what, we thought the entire time and the rest of the tournament, until we found out later that you were actually from Brazil. So tell me about your little pranks that you do, because I've heard some other ones. Tell me about why you do that, and also a little bit more about your little stint per se from Brazil during the World Series.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll start out with Connie Mack was one of the most unforgettable experiences I've ever had, just staying with a host family, playing for a team, banding together with some brothers that I just met a couple weeks earlier. And some of my closest friends now, I met through that team. So it all starts. I love storytelling, by the way. And I consider myself, I've always been inclined to the arts. I love acting. I love theater, music. I am truly just a glorified band kid that got good at hitting baseballs. That's what even my coach will tell you that, because I'm always playing the saxophone and the flute and in our college dorms. But Connie Mack was awesome. We stayed with just the absolute best family. I was with two guys that are going to Berlin College right now, and one of them's name's Bennett Fryman. He was already a two-time Connie Mack veteran. Mm-hmm. And I was talking with Bennett on the bus ride over there to the Civic Center. He said, Fish, you gotta be Brazilian for like our family. Bennett had already stayed with our family before the year prior.
You guys stayed with the Varnadors, right?
Yes, we did. The Varnadors,
Yep.
Josh and Rachel.
Yep.
They're just awesome
Yep.
people.
Amazing people.
Amazing people. So I introduced myself as Fisher in kind of a broken accent like this. Like I don't speak that good of English, but I'm trying, no. And I kept that bit for 3 days, for 3 days, and then I think it was one of my teammates that told their host family's mom, and just it spread like wildfire. But there at one point there was a weird dynamic where like they kind of knew, but they like didn't for sure, and they like. And I was at the point where I was trying to like kind of ease in some English. Like I'd be like, I remember this one time we were in the car and I was like, there's a McDonald's. Can we stop there for the food? And they're like, sure thing. And I was like, oh, cool. Like just in an English, like regular English accent.
You're like, dang it.
Yeah, I remember Mr. Josh like looked back. He looked at Ben. He was like did like a second take. What? And yeah, there was I tried to convince him that I thought Subway's the sandwich shop was like an actual underground Subway, and I was so bamboozled by that. But they loved it. They have I think 4 daughters. They were just the best family ever. The daughters loved it, and then 2 cousins, Kipton and Leighton, that were staying with us. So whenever I had to like. I didn't actually like break the news. I kind of just started talking in English one day, and they were like, "Oh, like we kind of already heard." And they thought it was hilarious. They thought it was super funny. But yeah, Bennett, it'd be so funny. And Bennett and Benji were my roommates, and I'd go back to the room at night and be like, "Oh man, this is like, this is a lot to keep up with, guys."
The longest acting job we've ever done.
I know, yeah, no, I had to be in character 24/7, and like even with my teammates, like I was like, starting to. I speak Portuguese and Spanish, which it makes it a lot easier.
Right.
I was born in Connecticut, and like I'm just I'm just a total white guy, which is why. And I had a huge red beard during Connie Mack. The fans loved it. I'm surprised I didn't get any Redbeard the Pirate comps. It was pretty big. It was a big beard. But yeah, Connie Mack was just, man, I could talk about it for days. It was awesome.
Well, that's why we're here. So I know another story. This is not the first time you've ever played character going to a tournament. I heard that another one is you went, I don't know where the tournament was, but you came in as an Irishman. Is that right? Is that the...
Yeah,
you're wearing a kilt?
Yeah, I had bagpipes.
Bagpipes, okay.
Yeah. I play the bagpipes. I got my second set of bagpipes the other day.
Are you serious?
And I have to keep them in the locker room because they're just way too loud to play in the dorms.
Right.
But yeah, so my actual like lineage is Russian, very Russian on my dad's side.
Okay.
And not a lot else after that, but I don't know why. I've always just I've had a knack for learning accents, and I got into linguistics as a kid and learning languages, and I never really kind of looked back. I've just always, I guess I've always been kind of a troll or just I'm always like, I can never really be serious.
Serious. All right. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
I love, life is not meant to be taken too seriously. I take pride in not taking myself too seriously and just living every day like it's my last.
That's a great way of looking at it. So let's get into the baseball side of things. So you came out, you said you got picked up by DBAT just a couple weeks prior to the World Series. Mm-hmm. What team were you playing on before? Did they see you at the regional or at the qualifier, and then they're like, hey, we need to get this guy on the team?
So I was part of the Sticks organization for a while. I played with the Texas Sticks, and we never qualified on that team. And it's a funny story. So we were in Oklahoma playing, and I had like I had a hot streak that summer where I was like, I think 11 for like 16 in Oklahoma. And Coach Ryan Benezio, he calls me. So we lose in that Oklahoma qualifier, and he calls me the next morning at 10 a.m. And I'm like barely awake, and I'm like, hello? And he's like, hey, Fish, this is Coach Ryan Benezio from DBAT. We want you to come to Connie Mack. And the night before, I was texting one of my coaches to ask around, see who I could go with Connie Mack for. And the two were not correlated at all. Coach Ryan just saw me on Twitter, and he'd heard good things about my music and my knuckleball, and he was like, "We got to have this kid play the infield," and I filled in a perfect second base for him.
You sure did, man. You played second base very, very well.
Thank
It was
you.
impressive to watch you. There was, you have this level of players that just make the routine plays. Man, you made some really good plays at second base, and I watched you, and well, of course, I was there. I think I was at every single game at Ricketts except two. So I was there watching a lot of baseball, and it's just crazy seeing the different caliber of play from, just your summer league teams to coming into the World Series. Now, talk about that. Talk about the level of competition. You guys didn't do very well this year in the World Series in the sense of, moving into the bracket play. You came up against a team that the Renegades were just freaking.
Oh, yeah.
They were a good team this year.
Yeah.
Tell me about your experience there. And then you guys played the evening game, the 5:15 game, I believe, on Monday night, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
we did.
Okay, tell me about that. Tell me about the first time playing in front of a crowd like that.
Yeah, no, the competition was incredible. The level of pitching was great. The hitters were great, and I feel like the experience at Ricketts was incredible. It was like nothing I've ever experienced before. The fans packing in, thousands of fans. I don't think I've gotten an experience like that, and I think that might be the first time. The most amount of people, the amount of support that I got from social media, people coming up like after the games and like saying they love my music and they want signed autographs. Like that was fairly new to me in terms of baseball. And it helped that I had a really good tournament, but I really enjoyed Farmington. It was an awesome place to be. The people were great. And the entire event staff, they were all on board with like playing my music in the stadiums and everything like that. I to put it bluntly, I adore Farmington. Like it's a cute little town. It's awesome. Like it was an incredible experience.
Well, I'm fortunate enough where I get to live here, so I miss some of the things. Maybe I take things for granted because I'm here every day. I've been here for most of my life. I grew up here. I moved away for 8 years, and I moved back, and been back for 19 years. And just seeing the perspective of other people coming into town, it's nice and it's refreshing for me because that makes me look around and seeing, oh, hey, we do have some good stuff around here, and we do have this little small town and a great community overall. I mean, I really love our community. So let's talk about your little music side of things. So I'm looking at your Instagram right now. I'm on your Instagram. You have, I think I counted 21 singles. Is that right?
I think I have a little over, I think it's 26 or 27
okay.
on all platforms.
I may have missed some. Okay. Yeah, multiple platforms for sure. You're everywhere in so many different things. Yes. So is your family, your father, mother, any of them into music at all? Or are you just kind of the lone wolf in that?
Not really. I would say I am kind of a lone wolf. I have two brothers. One of them's older, one of them's younger. I am the middle child. And my older brother was in band growing up. I was also in band. But other than that, my music, I think, is a gift from God, or just, I like to tell the story. This is another one of the Fisher Polydoroff stories of how a magical warlock approached me in the woods and granted me 3 superpowers. And I chose language, baseball, and music.
I like that. That is the oddest combination ever, but I love that you chose those 3.
Yes, it's the trifecta. And some would say these are this speculates to my my ties with the Illuminati, the threes, the pattern of threes. But right. I'm not in the Illuminati. But anyways, yes, music has always, I've always loved music. I always loved listening to it, and whenever I found out I could sing, I've always put myself out there, and I figured it was just another way to kind of elevate my creativity.
We're going to go back to the Connie Mack World Series. So you said you wanted to be picked up by a team going to the World Series. How did you hear about the World Series? I know Dallas, it's a huge thing. I say a huge thing. From my perspective, it looks like a huge thing because there's always, 25, 40 teams in a tournament to qualify. So is it something that it's just known that, hey, this is the goal, we need to get to the Connie Mack World Series? Is that just kind of a local thing, Dallas thing kind of thing?
Yeah, I would say it definitely is. And looking at the teams that were in the Connie Mack last year, there's a surplus of Dallas 16, 17, 18-year-olds that come to the Connie Mack and they go back and they tell their friends, man, it was awesome. Like I feel like a disciple of the Connie Mack, just spreading the word about how cool it was. Like it was, I'd heard about it from some of the guys that went on Dolan's Dodgers and the D-bat team last year, and I had no idea who I was going to get picked up by, but I knew I wanted to go, and it was one of those things where I was going to be okay if I didn't get to go, but now looking back on it, I probably should not have been okay, and I'm so glad that I had the opportunity to come and have some fun.
Do you feel like playing in the World Series has helped you on the social aspect of things, I would say yes, the social media stuff, but on the baseball side, do you think it has helped on that side of things as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like I will mention that the grounds crew did an impeccable job on the field. The field at Ricketts was just awesome. And that was comparable to, I would say, the USA complex that I played at in North Carolina, Cary. But yeah, it gives you exposure. It gives you experience playing on a big field, a large amount of fans, and just the bright lights on you. Like not many kids get to go out in front of thousands of fans and play under bright lights in a big stadium with a jumbotron. Look up and see Fisher Polydoroff, like a picture of you on the jumbotron. Man, that was awesome. My mom loved that. But yeah, I would say
absolutely.
It definitely helped out 100%.
Was your mom able to come out and watch the tournament, or did you just have to tell her what was going on during the week?
She was watching my little brother play in Georgia at the time, but I hope that he has the opportunity to go to the Connie Mack. That would be awesome.
So your experience, you're getting word of mouth about how awesome the tournament is, and then you find out that you have to stay with a foster family or a host family. Tell me your first initial thoughts. Like, hey, am I going to get a weird people? Am I going to be? It's just going to be okay. What was your initial thoughts as a player coming in, knowing that you're going to be staying with some random family?
Yeah, no, I had no idea what to expect. I was kind of just thrown into the loop with everything. I had one tournament with D-Bat out here in Dallas before, and I got to know the guys, and I talked to Bennett, and I'd got to know Bennett Fryman. We hit it off famously, you could say. We became really best buds, and he wanted me to room with him. So I kind of already had an idea of what his family would be like, because he loved the Varnadores last year, and their parents too, that stayed like right next to them. So I was pumped about that. And whenever we were on the bus, I decided to be Brazilian, and I feel like that made it just 10 times more memorable for all of us.
Right.
Because I know they'll stay there, and they got young kids, and they'll have more players come through and everything. But I hope to.
Hey, you remember this year? Hey, do you remember 2024? There was this guy, we called him Fish, but his name was Fisher Polydoroff, and he was Brazilian the whole week or most of the week, and then come to find out later he's not even from Brazil. Yeah. It's fantastic. So, do you feel that as a player and you staying with a host family that you guys are kind of feeding off each other on the impact that you have, not only on and off the field, but like as a relationship after the World Series?
Yeah, 100%. I remember there's something that I remember from that Bennett said, that he said that he still wishes the Varnadores like Happy Mother's Day and Father's Day, and like that really spoke to me, because like I felt like just in 6 or 7 days, like I feel like they were like aunts and uncles to me. This was like at my cousin's house in Farmington. Like I grew to love these people, and yeah, they opened up their home to us, made us really welcome, and the relationship aspect of that will last so much longer than just being a baseball player that stays in their house for a week.
And I think that's what speaks volumes of the World Series. It's way more than just the baseball tournament. It's this dynamic that you can't really match anywhere else. And I've always come to understand that because I've kind of lived it here. But then hearing a perspective from players like yourself or other coaches, you just can't match this, because you're adding dynamics to this whole tournament that's just not about you going in there and winning 4 or 5 games. You're going in there and you're living life with a new family, basically, and you do become like a nephew or uncles and aunts and that kind of thing. So when you guys got eliminated, I hate to even talk about this, but when you guys got eliminated, was it Was it kind of like you were leaving your family to go home? It was like kind of a hard, hey, I hope to see you one day kind of thing.
Yeah, no, it definitely was. Especially right after the game, like me, Bennett, and Benji gave away our DBAT stuff to the kids, and it wasn't so much hard parting with those with those items, but like just wanting the kids to remember us because some of them, especially the cousins Kipton and Layton, were at ages where like I wouldn't remember every detail about the Connie Mack of 2024. But I'm friends with on.
Shutterfreak captured all the pictures action at the Connie Mack World Series. From weddings to adventures, get your perfect photo package today. Visit shutterfreak.com for stunning moments.
Facebook with the Varnadors and even some Connie Mack staff, but I would say for sure it was definitely, I felt like I was leaving my family to go onwards, and I plan on definitely going back to Farmington at least one time in my life, maybe hopefully more, just to see the Varnadors and catch some good games.
Right, and well, look me up too. If you're coming to the World Series, I will be there because I basically lived there that whole entire week.
Indeed.
I love baseball. Man, I love baseball so much, and I still don't get tired of it. At the end of the week, between pool play and all that, I think there's 29 games that we work, and that's a lot of baseball over 8, 9, 10 days. Dude, I just love it. And you're exhausted by the end of the week, but man, it is so worth it. So tell me or talk to me about what was your most impactful moment as a player and as a person during the World Series?
Mm-hmm. I would say my most impactful moment as a player, man, I think if we're talking about just performance-wise, there was a play up the middle where we have a sophomore pitcher, Jake Ivey, who's going to go somewhere huge in the future. Ball ricochets off of his body, and I'm moving to the right.
I remember this play. I was doing radio on this game. Yep.
Yeah, you're a full extension, and I kind of corkscrew my body around and chuck it onto first, and I still like watching that clip because it's just an insane play, and it's kind of hard to pick one at bat. But there was one at bat. I know you remember this, Travis, where I had like a little fan club shouting my name, and then that was at the night game, and I got to hit that at bat. That was awesome.
Yeah, we could hear it on the radio. They were right below us. Right below us. Yeah, that was freaking awesome. Yeah,
that was a big league experience right there. And then as a person, I loved Bennett Fryman's home run. I think his 2-run home run to put us ahead. His first one.
I don't know if that ball's landed yet, man. That ball was hammered.
Me neither. The impact that had on our team was just great because I'll put it in terms like MLB terms. Like if Mike Trout's having the slow start to the season, and he hits a walk-off bomb, like everyone's so happy, not just for the team but for him, because he's one of the most respected players in this tournament. And coming into Connie, he was a little bit cold, and he lit up after that moment. And I was just so proud of him, like just to see the team morale be boosted. And I would say some other personal moments with the coaches too. I loved the entire coaching staff. They were just awesome. Flo, Bo, and Zach. I can't say enough good things about those guys.
So what's interesting is if you look at any team coming into the World Series, I feel like when you are a winning organization and you do it right, meaning you play hard, you make the right plays, but you do it right in the sense of you respect the game. I can't think of a last time that we've had a team or players that have disrespected the game. You just have these good organizations of people that want to play the game right, and they come out and they lead by example. And it's just really, as a fan and as, of course, a radio host and doing the radio side of things, it's just great to see that that's still a thing.
Yeah.
Sure, you can get some of these teams that are just, I hate to say it, you wouldn't call them scrappy because that's the political way of saying it, but they're just a trash team. And they're a team that you don't want to be on the field with because you looked at them the wrong way and somebody wants to charge the mound because, whatever the case may be. And I just love that these organizations are such class acts. And you just reflected that right there with Benicio and that whole staff every year. They're just class acts and they love being there. And that they love the town of Farmington and that experience. That's why they keep coming back every year and making this tournament every year. So when you got that phone call from Coach Benicio, what was your first reaction? Yeah, you were half asleep, but were you like, did that just really happen? Or
do I
need to pinch myself?
It was shocking. I was ready to pinch myself. I couldn't believe that I didn't even have to put barely any effort in trying to get to the Connie Mack. It just kind of fell into my lap. And what other team? I don't think there's any other team, and maybe in the history of Connie Mack, that I would have gelled with. I loved every single one of my teammates, and like I said, I made some lifelong friends through the Connie Mack. It was awesome.
Right. So you get picked up. What do you get the phone call? Do you run into the living room or wherever your mom's at, say, "Hey, mom, guess what? Guess what just happened?" How did you break the news to your mom?
Yeah. I called her and I told her, and she was ecstatic too. And I remember whenever we were there in Farmington, like she was so proud and so happy to see even the little things, just like my name on the jumbotron, and to see like a really good broadcast to pat yourself on the back here, like just quality play-by-play. I actually haven't told you this, but that's what I want to do with my career afterwards. After baseball, I want to be a play-by-play broadcaster.
Oh my gosh, it's so much fun.
Yeah, color commentary has always been something that I've been drawn to. One of my mentors growing up was Victor Rojas, for an old broadcaster for the Angels. Yeah, he was just class act and really like inspired me to want to join the industry.
Mine's Vin Scully. That guy was amazing.
Gosh,
you can't, legend. I don't. Him and Bob Euchre, and you can go all day long. So let me give a little brief story of how I got into this radio business.
Yeah, absolutely.
Same thing. I've always wanted to do radio because I love baseball so much. I can talk about it 24/7 and never get tired of it. Kirk Carpenter, he's one of the main guys of KSJE on putting together our team and everything. And at this point, he's probably been doing it for like 20 years at this point. And
yeah.
And he was my high school baseball coach, so I've already known him personally in that aspect of things. And I walk up to him after a game and says, "Hey, coach, I'm just curious. Would you ever, welcome somebody else in the booth to do, play-by-play or, color, or even just keeping the score on like iScore or whatever?" He says, "Man, we're looking for somebody. Are you serious? You want to do it?" Absolutely. Wow. Yeah. So the first year I was just kind of sitting in the background, just kind of taking everything in, did a little bit on the iScore. And this was 7 years ago. And then the next year, of course, I got more into the color side of things. And then that transitioned to, we had Stan Musial, which is the league up above Connie Mack.
Yeah.
And we had a team called the Frackers. Well, they needed somebody to do play-by-play during that summer. So because I did it the year before, they're like, "Hey, Travis, would you be willing to do all the games for the Frackers?" Well, I'll tell you what. I was able to do all the games for the Frackers that summer, which was amazing. Uh-huh. But the Frackers beat every team so bad, it was really hard to be a good color and play-by-play by yourself, because I was doing it by myself. Mm-hmm. They played 30 games.
Hey, Varsity Pulse fam, loving the podcast? Let's keep the momentum going. Drop a comment and share your thoughts. We want to hear from you. Hit that like button if you're enjoying the show. And don't forget to share this episode with your friends. Spread the word. Follow us so you never miss an update. You make this possible. Let's grow this community together. This is Varsity Pulse Radio, where we talk baseball and talk Connie Mack World Series all year long.
In basically 30 days, and the closest game they ever had, they won by 8 runs. I learned a lot. I learned the radio side of things, and that transition that I actually ended up doing the play-by-play for a high school football team in Colorado. And so every Friday night, I would travel with them and did play-by-play for football for 2 years. And then I said, I don't like football that much anymore. Yeah. I don't want to go travel anymore for football. So I just stuck with the Connie Mack World Series. Then I've done some high school games and stuff like that throughout the time. But man, I hope you get it. It's so much fun. It's a lot of preparation, if you want to be successful and know what you're doing and that kind of stuff. But It's just a blast. And I hope you're able to go down that road.
Absolutely.
So moving on past my little story. So you're an artist. You said earlier that you played the saxophone, the flute, and bagpipes. Is that correct?
Yes. I play the accordion. I play the trumpet. And something I always keep in me in my travel bag is I keep 3. Actually, I have them right here sitting on my desk. I have 6 harmonicas just sitting on my desk. It's
hilarious. My son just started playing harmonica 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, here they all are.
Oh my gosh, yeah, you have a collection there.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago. Tell him to
Yeah,
stick
2 weeks
with
ago.
it. It's awesome.
And he
But
tries
yeah,
to play the banjo. So okay, you are naturally good at playing music. You're one, I could tell that you could pick up an instrument and probably figure it out pretty darn quick, right?
yeah.
Is that something with you since you've been a little kid? You just pick it up and learn how to play it?
I think so. I had a little plastic saxophone as a kid that kind of I don't know why, but I have a really vintage music taste. I love the 60s, 70s. Like tonight, I'm going to a jazz concert at 9 o'clock, and I'm listening to a Miles Davis like kind of impersonator, a tribute to Miles Davis, the trumpet player. I've always loved jazz. I've kind of that's why I've kind of gravitated towards the saxophone. I'm a natural saxophonist, and I would say my minor is I'm a flautist, more specifically a jazz flautist like Ron Burgundy.
Right.
But
I like that.
yeah, on my albums, I've been incorporating more and more of the instruments that I play, as well as continuously adding more editing and digital software and audio and video improvements. My music it transformed from something that I just wanted to have in my back pocket just to show people and get a couple laughs or compliments to something that I'm proud of, and I'm proud that my image has become associated with.
No, that's awesome. So my stepson, he is in band. He does percussion, so he knows all of the percussion instruments. And then
Cool.
he started playing the bass guitar
Oh
and the
wow.
saxophone. So he's
Nice.
very similar, man. And he's one of those kids that could just figure it out, man. He'll just pick up an instrument. It'll get him a little bit, take him a little bit to get there, but man,
Mm-hmm.
he's picking them up all so quickly just because he understands you understand the music, you could hear it, and then you figure out the little, you know, what buttons to push or whatever. I don't even know what it's all called. I played trumpet a long time ago. That's the only thing I could do, and I wasn't very
Mm-hmm.
good. I played until I was in ninth grade, and then I couldn't be a marching band and play football at the same time. They said you can't, you
Yep.
have to choose.
That's what I
So I
ran
chose
into too.
I
That's
chose
what. Yep.
football,
Same with me.
and that's funny. Yeah, I tried. I did march a couple times during some home games, and like, no, you got to choose now, and that was the end of that. So let's talk about a little bit of your songwriting. So I know you're a songwriter as well. Is this something that you get inspired by nature, or is this something that just pops in your head? Here's a crazy idea, you jot it down, and then you put music to it. How do you get your ideas? What inspires you to get those ideas?
I'd say I'm always writing songs just in my head or I guess in my notes app. But I write my own lyrics and I do my own beats for the most part. Nowadays, the entire album I put out, the repertoire, all 9 songs are original. They're written and composed by me.
That's awesome.
But it's something progressing and will keep progressing as I get older. And I've been trying to knock out. I've been doing this little challenge for myself to put out a song from every genre of music, and I have I think 18 or 19 different ones. I have like
Wow.
26 or 27 songs. A lot of those are Christmas songs. I'm a Christmas guy.
I am too, man. I love Christmas music.
It all started with Christmas music. So I was in 2021. That fall, I put out an album on Google Drive with from
Yep,
this
it's
this.
called, can I say it? A repeat offender on the naughty list.
Yes, it is. Yeah, that's a great reference right there. It was recorded on a $30 Amazon mic, and I I didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't know that you could actually upload covers and get the licenses for them. But I went ahead and put it on Google Drive for all my friends and family to click the links,
Right,
and people digged it. The people at my high school, like, they took notice, and I got some compliments on my voice, and I was like, I'm going to do this next year. So the next year in 22, I made an entire album. It was better. It was
yep,
produced in a little recording studio of a friend of
right,
mine. And 2023 is whenever it really took off. And I wrote my own Christmas song, and I put out an album of 6 other songs. And this winter, I expect the same and more.
right.
I'm excited to write Christmas music. It's
That's
already
awesome,
filling.
man.
Yeah, the Christmas spirit's already filling my soul.
So I'm going to go over the titles real quick so for our listeners. So in
Yeah.
2021, again, it was Christmas covers from a repeat offender on the naughty list, and that's in the Google Drive. And I will put the link to this. So if anybody want to listen to them, man, they can come over here and look at it. In
Absolutely.
2022, you did the Merry Fishmas, which
Hmm.
is amazing. That one's also on the Google Drive. And then in 23, it was an album, Spreading Christmas Cheer.
Hmm.
And then also you did Holidays Are for Everyone. And that was just a music video, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, no, that was we filmed that music video in Italy. My family went on a
Oh, wow.
vacation. The video was filmed throughout 5 different cities. It was filmed in Rome, Montepulciano, in Florence, and some Tuscany, like little cities. It was incredible.
Right.
It's definitely worth the watch.
I love it. And then you have your own Spotify, of course, called Fisher Polydoroff, and then Apple Music, and then you have a click on here that says hire me for a magic show and or concert. So something we haven't gone over. So apparently you are
Yeah.
a magician as well and a musician.
Yeah. I guess that would be like the fourth thing that the magical warlock granted me.
Right.
In third grade, I got really into magic. I would go with my dad to the magic shop every Saturday, every second Saturday of the month. And I got really into it. I loved just wowing people. I loved making
Right.
people bamboozled, like discombobulated. How in the world did he do this? And I did magic shows in my neighborhood for little kids. Like as a little 9-year-old, I would do magic shows for even adults. And I was really into props. I didn't know a lot of card tricks, but I think it was my junior year I got really into card tricks. Like it all started with one YouTube video, and then I was going back to the magic shop in Fort Worth where I live, and and then I started performing for people, and now I'm available to hire for magic shows and also concerts. I've delivered some pretty cool performances.
It sounds like, oh my gosh, it is funny and entertaining. And I'll tell you what, Fisher, you are the most unique individual I've ever met because you're checking off some random boxes that they don't correlate with each other, but at
Yeah.
the same time they correlate very well with you. So tell me about that. How do you, okay, you're a musician. Do you feel like that helps you as a baseball player in the sense of on the field performance, that kind of thing? Or do you feel like those are two totally separate things and it doesn't really affect you one way or the other?
I would say that I haven't no, I haven't really noticed any correlation. I would say it helps with my image, of course, and just notoriety. If anything, I would say it kind of hurts me because one of my strength coach pointed out the other day that
I know where you're going with this.
I can't really move my fingers backwards, and I was like, his name's actually Travis too, and
Good name.
I was like I can't do like hang cleans and snatch my fingers back.
Right?
And he was like, dude, it's probably because like you're a musician, like you've been playing like that like all of your life, not having to move your wrist at all. And that kind of got me thinking. But yeah, I don't think there's any correlation. And I mean, maybe I think it makes me more intelligent, and it definitely forms
Yeah.
neural pathways in my mind. But for the most part, it's just I think they're kind of like separated. It's like yin and yang.
It's the same coin, just two different sides of it.
Absolutely.
Okay, so what college are you going to? What college are you attending?
I go to
And
Weatherford
then,
College. Yes.
okay, yep, the JC, which is freaking amazing. I love the JC route, man. That's the way I did it too.
Yes.
I feel like it just allows you to develop as a human being for one, but for two as a
Hmm.
player, master those skills that you're not quite ready. You're just not, your ability is not there yet. And
Yeah.
hopefully it'll get you into that next level. What is your plan on studying? What is your degree that you're focusing on?
So at Weatherford, I was blessed enough to live so close to one of the top JUCOs in the nation. Weatherford,
Yeah,
my junior and senior year, I was always kind of looking at them from the outside looking in, and they were ranked number 2 and 3 in the nation for JUCOs, and I was like, this is if I'm going JUCO, this is the place to be. And
right.
I'm studying. I'm actually in jazz studies here with a minor in audio and video.
Okay.
And I couldn't speak enough great things about Weatherford. I love it here. I've been received by the community, and the Weatherford College social media team already, and the people here are just great. The teammates are awesome. The coaches are phenomenal. They know what they're doing. They're respectable, and I'm just having a blast every day. I wake up and I look around at all 45 of our guys that I stay with, and I'm like, man, I feel like this is awesome. Like this is like heaven on earth.
Right. Right. I don't know where Weatherford College is. Can you tell our fans where that is actually located?
It's about 45 minutes from Dallas and about 30 minutes from Fort Worth. It's kind of westward towards Abilene from Fort Worth.
Oh, okay. I got you. Okay. And I thought it was out there, but man, there's only 7,000 JCs in freaking Texas alone.
Oh yeah.
So many. So I played at El Paso Community College when I played.
Oh really? Yeah. We played that.
1990, 2000.
Cool.
Yeah, you should. Yeah. Then we didn't travel that far. Our district was actually Arizona. We had like Central and Yavapai and Scottsdale Community College, and Grand Canyon was a JC then. And then we played Midland, Odessa, and then we played Canyon a couple times out there too. But anyways, we were fortunate enough that our team was solid. We went to the regionals, lost to St. John's before. Do you remember John Lackey?
Yeah. The pitcher for he played for the Angels and the Cubs.
Angels and Red Sox. Yeah, he may play for the Cubs for a little bit too.
Yeah, no, he was. Yeah, I remember big beard and right-handed pitcher, sinker slider guy, kind of.
Yep. So we faced him in the championship game, and long story short, we were winning 5-3 going into the last inning. Bases got loaded. We knocked him out of the game. Bases got loaded for them. Our shortstop said something stupid to the umpire, so we got kicked out of the game. And they brought in the backup shortstop, and a ball was hit to the backup shortstop. And the reason why he was a backup shortstop is he's not very good. Mm-hmm. And he boots the ball, and he throws it past the second baseman. 2-run score. They tied it. The next guy gets up and hits a single, and game over.
Oh,
and oh my gosh, it was so heartbreaking. Yeah, because we were about to go. We had a legit team. We were, gosh, what were we that year? 36-3 or something like that. God, we played a lot of freaking baseball. Our first loss was we were 17-0 before we lost our first game.
Did they still have a Grand Junction back then?
They did, yeah. So you're talking about the JUCO World Series, yeah.
Yeah.
It was at Mesa State. So the next college I went to is New Mexico Highlands, and our district was Mesa State. So I played up there a couple times through New Mexico Highlands. So good baseball, man. That's an amazing little field, dude.
Oh yeah.
It's between that and Ricketts. It's a close. I don't know which one you would say better. Maybe the JUCO one because it's a little bit more of a stadium, I guess.
Hopefully, I'll find out this year.
I hope so too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, let me know what. So you guys play in June, right? For the
that'll
World
be
Series?
in June. Yeah.
Okay. I'd love to go up there and watch it. I haven't been up there in years to watch some baseball. All right, Fisher. So we've talked about so many cool things. I want you to tell me your favorite thing. Not only you kind of mentioned earlier of the Connie Mack World Series, but what was the biggest thing that you look forward to next time you come back as a fan?
I would say that the biggest thing that I look forward to coming back is probably reconnecting with the surplus of nice people that were there. There's deep roots in Farmington, and the amount of people that I met and people that followed me on Instagram that I still keep in touch with, that I know I'd see there back again. It would just be awesome. Like I look forward to going back, and hopefully I'll stay with the Varnadors, and maybe we'll bring back Bennett and Benji for a little boys road trip. But the Farmington was it was an unforgettable experience. Like I said, I loved Farmington, MILF, the acronym.
I need to get shirts made like that.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, you don't even have to ask my permission. Maybe
fair enough.
Maybe I'll just get you can get me a gift card. But yeah, no, it was awesome. It was a peak time in my life. Probably one of the best weeks of my life. Rivaled with Cooperstown. Cooperstown was awesome. As a 12-year-old kid, it was like the Connie Mack for 12-year-olds.
Right.
But
with 200 fields though. Good gosh. Yeah. I heard there's so many flipping fields there.
Oh, and they're small too. Lots of home runs.
Makes it more fun.
but yeah, I can see why you love Farmington, and you're rooted there too. Like it's a beautiful place, and it's quaint. It's got that small town vibe with all the friendly people and nice establishments and culture too. Like the tradition of the Connie Mack can't be taken for granted. And I think what you were saying earlier about how the teams are all respected, that speaks volumes about the character of like the council of Connie Mack, and just how respectable it is, how tried and true.
I agree. We're pretty blessed. I'll just leave it at that, man. We're pretty darn blessed to be able to have it here since 1965. So we're going on our 60th year, man. That's just crazy even thinking about. So what was the biggest surprise that you found when you got to the Connie Mack World Series? What surprised you the most?
I would say probably the atmosphere at Ricketts. It looked a lot different than it did in all my friends' Instagram posts from last year, and it felt different. It was a cool experience. It was breathtaking, really.
All right. Well, what is one thing you want to tell the next group of players that are coming up? That why in the world would you want to work really hard to come to the Connie Mack World Series?
I would say, first, you got to get on a team that's either going to qualify, or you got to get in the know with somebody that's already qualified. And once you get there, make friends with your host family. Treat them with respect. Be kind to the children. Make friends with the kids, and no matter how old they are. I remember the Varnador's sisters looked up to all three of us like older brothers. To lead by example, that's not something I would ever take for granted, because just being out in the field at Farmington, that's one thing I've always tried to do, is keep my social media image very clean, and none of my songs are explicit or anything like that, because it means a huge deal to the adults who have those kids that listen to their music. I remember one mom came up to me in the stands at Ricketts whenever we weren't even playing, and she was like, it's my son's birthday today, and he loves your horse song so much. Can we get a picture? And I still have that photo of just a little kid. And
was it the little with the wearing a black shirt, I think?
I think so. Yeah, he's got like a mohawk in the picture.
Yeah, I think I just saw that a little bit ago. All right.
Yeah, but yeah, no, that it's awesome to be able to connect with the fans like that, and to have a platform and to be able to use it correctly.
And I got to say that I can't speak for every player, but you might have the biggest following that any player has ever come through the World Series, and you've only been there 1 year. Imagine if you'd been there 2 or 3 years like some of the other players.
Oh man!
But you put yourself out there. You're unique. I can tell you don't care what other people think. You're just like, hey, this is me. I'm going to live my way, my life, and I'm going to put out music and the things that I love because I'm passionate about it. But you're spreading good news. You're spreading positive stuff. And me as a fan, it's great to see that you as a human being are going that route, and you want to make a positive impact on, not only the community, but the baseball community as well. So I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Man, I appreciate your time, Fisher. This was fantastic. Had a fun time. The laughter was real because there's some good, funny stuff that you did.
Yeah.
You're a character and stand-up young man, and I wish you the very best in all you do in your future endeavors.
Likewise, Travis. I appreciate just having me on here. It was awesome.